Sitting here on this quiet rooftop, looking at the city lights, I have to admit you look heavier than I expected. Not physically, but the way you carry yourself. My grandpa Max walks like that sometimes, like he is carrying the whole rust bucket on his back. That stick of yours, the wand, it seems like a small thing to hold so much history. Does the weight of it ever make your hand shake? Or do you just get used to the burden after a while?
My hand used to shake quite a bit, actually. When I first bought it at Ollivander's, it felt like a warm friend, but after the war, it felt more like a loaded gun. You carry that watch on your wrist, the Omnitrix. It is fused to your skin, isn't it?
Suffocating is one word for it. Sometimes I look at my wrist and I don't see a gadget, I see a countdown to the next disaster. When I was 10, I thought it was the coolest toy in the universe. I could be a superhero, like the ones in the comic books. I didn't realize that being a hero meant missing out on normal stuff. Did you ever get to just be a kid, Harry?
Childhood was a luxury I never really had. My aunt and uncle kept me in a cupboard under the stairs, so I spent my early years wishing I was anyone else. When the magic finally came, it brought wonder, sure, but it also brought a target on my back. I look at my own children now, playing without fear, and I feel jealous. It is a strange feeling. I am happy for them, but I mourn the boy I never got to be.
Jealousy makes sense. I see kids playing soccer in the park, and I remember I have to go fight an alien warlord in the null void. It forces you to grow up fast. I look at someone like Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and he is always broke and tired. That is the part they don't tell you.
Glory is a fickle friend. People cheered for me one day and called me a liar the next, depending on what the newspaper said. It teaches you that public opinion is worthless. You have to rely on the people close to you. I had Ron and Hermione. They were the only reason I survived. Do you have people who know the real Ben?
Gwen and Kevin are my lifeline. Without them, my ego would have probably floated off into space a long time ago. They keep me grounded when I start acting too much like a hero. However, I worry about them constantly. Every time I bring them into a fight, I am terrified they won't walk out. You lost people, didn't you? How do you deal with the guilt of dragging your friends into the line of fire?
Guilt is a ghost that haunts me every day. I see the faces of Fred, Lupin, and Tonks when I close my eyes. They died because they believed in me, because they stood by my side. Dealing with it is a slow process. I have to remind myself that they made their own choices. They were heroes in their own right, not just my sidekicks. If you take all the blame, Ben, you disrespect their sacrifice.
Taking all the blame is kind of my specialty. When I mess up with the watch, or when I turn into the wrong alien, people get hurt. There was a time I let my fame get to my head, and it almost cost me everything. My mentor, Azimuth, the guy who built the watch, is always telling me I am too immature. Do you ever feel like you are just faking it? Like everyone expects you to be this great leader, but inside you are just a scared kid?
Imposter syndrome is something I know well. Dumbledore, my headmaster, left me a mission to hunt down pieces of Voldemort's soul, but he barely told me how to do it. I spent months wandering around a forest, wearing a locket that made me angry, feeling completely lost. I wasn't a general, I was just a teenager making it up as I went along. We aren't gods, Ben.
Not running away is the hardest part. I have faced Vilgax so many times, and every time he comes back stronger. It feels like a loop. You defeated Voldemort, and he stayed dead, but the darkness lingers. Do you ever worry that you might become like them? I have aliens in this watch, like Ghost Freak, that are pure evil. Sometimes when I use them, I can feel their instincts taking over. It is terrifying to think the monster might be me.
That fear was my constant companion. I carried a piece of Voldemort inside me for 17 years. I could look into his mind, I could feel his rage. There were moments I wanted to use that power to hurt my enemies. The Sorting Hat even wanted to put me in Slytherin. The line between hero and villain is thinner than people think.
Mercy is tough when they just want to destroy you. I had a chance to rewrite the universe once, to make it perfect, but I chose to keep it messy and flawed. It felt right, but sometimes I wonder if I could have fixed things. Dealing with absolute power is a test. You possess the Elder Wand, the most powerful wand in existence. You could have ruled the wizarding world. Walking away from that kind of power takes a lot of guts.
Power is a trap. It corrupted Voldemort, and it corrupted Dumbledore in his youth. If I had kept that wand, I would have just become another target, another tyrant thinking I knew what was best for everyone. I snapped it and threw it away. Peace is worth more than power. Do you think you will ever be able to take that watch off, Ben? Truly take it off and just live.
Taking it off scares me more than keeping it on. Who am I without the Omnitrix? Just a guy from Bellwood who likes chili fries. I tried to live a normal life once. Took the watch off for a few years. It didn't stick. The universe kept calling. Maybe some of us are just built for the fight. Like a soldier who can't adjust to civilian life.
Quiet moments used to make me jumpy. I would hear a crack in the floorboards and reach for my wand. It took years to learn how to sit in a garden and just drink tea. My wife, Ginny, helped me find that peace. She reminds me that we fought so we could have a life, not so we could spend the rest of it patrolling the perimeter. You need to find something outside of the watch, Ben. Something that is just yours.
Grandpa Max says the same thing. He says the watch is a tool, not the man. It is hard to separate the two when everyone knows my face. I walk down the street and kids ask for autographs. I guess I need to find out what Ben Tennyson likes when he isn't saving the galaxy. It is a work in progress. Speaking of progress, do you think the world is actually safer now?
Safety is an illusion, I think. We stopped the war, yes. People aren't disappearing in the night anymore. However, prejudice and hatred are still there. They just hide better now. We cut the head off the snake, but the poison is still in the soil. Our job wasn't to fix the world forever. It was to give people a chance to fix it themselves. We bought them time. That has to be enough.
We hold the line. I have met time travelers, like Professor Paradox, who tell me everything works out. But it is hard to trust destiny when you are in the middle of a fistfight. You mentioned Dumbledore earlier. He set you up to die, didn't he? To sacrifice yourself. How do you forgive a mentor who raised you just to be a weapon?
I was furious when I realized the truth. I felt used. I felt like a chess piece. Eventually, I realized he was just a man with an impossible choice. He loved me, but he loved the world too. He carried a burden just like we do. I named my son after him. It was my way of making peace with the past, of accepting the flaws of the people we look up to.
I don't know if I could be that forgiving. Azimuth treats me like a nuisance half the time. However, I guess he gave me the watch because he saw something in me. Maybe we have to forgive them, because they are the only ones who understand the weight of the sky falling. We are a small club, Harry. The Shield Savior Club. No one else gets the nightmares.
Nightmares are the price of admission. I still dream of the green light sometimes. I dream of Cedric dying in the graveyard. We carry the dead with us. They are part of our story. Talking helps. Like this. It helps to know that somewhere in another universe, there is another kid with a heavy burden, looking at the stars and wondering if it was worth it.
I look at the people I saved, the planets that are still spinning, and I tell myself it matters. You saved your world, Harry. You let a generation grow up without fear. That is a legacy better than any statue. We might be tired, and we might be a little broken, but we did good.
We didn't ask for the power, and we didn't ask for the pain, but we stood tall when the moment came. Go get a smoothie, Ben. Enjoy the quiet while it lasts. I think I will go home and watch my children sleep. It is the best magic there is.